Hello, I'd like to welcome everyone to today's webinar. My name is Diane Price, and I'm Program Manager for Fulbright. I'm joined by my colleague, Shannon Conhetti, who's Program Assistant for the Fulbright program. This is our second webinar we have conducted in support of the Fulbright Junior Faculty Development Program for Egypt and Lebanon, and the Fulbright Visiting Scholar Program for Iraq, which is now actually being administered by Ahmed East, our organization. Our initial webinar went into great depth, but with this session, we're actually assuming that you're interested, and we'd like an abbreviated session that provides just the highlights, best tips to keep in mind before submitting a proposal. And so given the abbreviated nature of the session, we anticipate that it won't last longer than 30 minutes, hopefully barring any technological difficulties. We know everyone has a pretty big, busy schedule, and so they want to keep it pretty concise and give you information that pertains to the proposal and actual program. And I just want to note that this presentation will be recorded and posted on the Ahmed East website for viewing at a later date. So we are now going to move on to the most important aspect, is the deadline, which is October 15th. This is the most critical item to keep in mind. All proposal submissions must be submitted to the email stated here, proposaljsdp@ahmedeast.org by 8 p.m. Eastern Time. We made it 8 p.m. to give our folks on the West Coast an opportunity as well and not shortchange them their time. When submitting your proposal, please include the following titles, as you see in the asterisk located below: Fulbright Junior Faculty Development Program for Egypt or Lebanon, depending on which one you're interested in, or the Visiting Scholar Program for Iraq. This will really help us to be able to tell which proposal you're submitting, and helps us with filing purposes. So you have a little under 1 month to prepare your submission, which I believe will still give you ample time to develop a well-crafted entry, especially if you keep the tips in mind that we're going to share in today's presentation. So finally, just remember, October 15th, mark your calendars. Okay, so now, before I delve a little bit into the program components, I just want everyone to keep in mind that the Junior Faculty Development Program for Egypt and Lebanon and the Visiting Scholar Program for Iraq are Fulbright programs, and thus mutual understanding through international education exchange is a key foundation. The intent of the 10-week summer program is to equip junior faculty with the tools needed to build higher education capacity within their home institutions and advance education for future generations. Many of the cohort disciplines for which the proposal submissions will be accepted include the following: it's business administration and economics, economic development and entrepreneurship, engineering, public health, renewable energy, science and technology, and TEFL/linguistics. And these are all separated by the 3 countries that have programs on offer: Egypt, Lebanon, and Iraq. And so you'll be able to see on our site which cohort discipline applies to which country. So this slide here provides key components, program components that must be addressed regardless of specific cohort discipline. All proposals must include a program orientation, include activities, and also a cultural component. So we really want you to take a comprehensive approach in designing these programs, really to ensure that our visiting faculty are exposed to both an academic-based professional development program as well as U.S. cultural aspects as well. So the first part, we have orientation. How does the proposed plan introduce junior faculty to the program, university facilities, U.S. faculty, and the community? So these are going to be tips that we need to keep in mind when developing your narrative. The orientation sets the tone for the program and should be utilized as a time to acquaint visiting faculty with your institution and provide them opportunity to discuss program regulations, introduce faculty members, give an overview of academic life, and also be utilized as a concentrated period of time to set the tone for program expectations. And also, this is a time where you can organize scheduled campus tours. Oftentimes, when you think of an orientation, you have in your mind what an orientation looks like, but you don't clearly explain it in your proposal. Make sure you include all details for your proposal. If you don't have room to include it in a narrative, you can also create a chart that you can put in the appendices. So just really remember thinking about how you want to structure that orientation, because that's going to be the time period that you are introducing the junior faculty to the academic life in the U.S. So it's very important that's well executed. And then next we have program activities. Does the proposal show a variety of activities that present topics highlighted in the RFP? So the on-campus academic program, this portion is the structured 10-week program that exposes junior faculty to teaching and also research methodologies. In your proposal, you're going to really need to go into detail about the instructional content and discuss how you will incorporate the required topics concerning teaching and research methodologies, instructional technology, and the education system in the U.S. into your program, because these are the overarching goals of this program. Other topics that we would that must be included are leadership in higher education, curriculum development, grant proposal writing, fundraising in higher education. So we know the narrative is only 5 pages, so we understand that you can't go into depth in each of those topics. But remember, in the appendix, you'll be able to provide a draft schedule that gives a snapshot of your vision and how you plan to structure and facilitate learning. And we remember to keep the program dynamic, engaging. While it's a short-term program, students really want to be exposed to new and creative thought for the whole duration of the program. So this really can be accomplished by delivering academic components in a variety of formats, including workshops, seminars, observations, lectures, and other innovative means. Don't just assume that we'll understand that the format is a workshop or the format is a seminar. Clearly outline that in your narrative. Say, we intend to present this component in a seminar format, in a workshop format, and also discuss why you decided to do that. So it's really good to have some background information on the decisions that you're making and what you would like to see as the overall outcome from that delivery method. Other methods include incorporation of professional meetings and also networking events. These allow the junior faculty an opportunity to see practical application of their disciplines. And they also get a better understanding of relationships and how they're built and maintained as well. So it's really good that they are exposed to these different delivery methods in order to really see how the methods work together. And it also shows that, it's not a one-size-fits-all. Some methods work better than others depending on the discipline. And then next we have is the cultural component. Does the proposed program provide opportunities for the junior faculty to engage in local community and share information about their home country? It's important that the junior faculty be exposed to the community surrounding the U.S. host campus, not just be isolated on the campus. We want them then to get familiar with the U.S. campus, but also the greater world outside of that. Some activities that promote engagement with Americans and exposes them to U.S. culture. That includes like host family engagement, cultural site visits, campus activities, and such, museums, visits to national parks, volunteer services. It's essential that you build this opportunity for junior faculty to share about their home country as well. This is often overlooked, but it's considered a crucial program feature. Remember to really outline that as well. Say, for instance, you're taking them into a volunteer activity and it's tied to, you have like a cultural tie to their country. Maybe that would be a great avenue for them to present something about their culture at that event. So make sure that you remember to actually outline that in your narrative as well, because we want to make sure that you're addressing each aspect that's asked in the RFP. And then we have a mentorship. The mentorship component is one of the most important aspects of this program. It really sets it apart from others. The mentorship, it should be structured in a manner to reinforce program objectives and also provide individualized support and opportunities to build relations between the U.S. academics and the visiting scholar. And in the narrative, You must focus on the structure of the mentorship. You can also add information in the appendices, of course, where you can list proposed faculty mentors and also their respective research interests. While you may not have each person identified at the time of submission, you should be able to indicate a few potential participants. I know one of the common concerns expressed is the junior faculty members in the respective countries have not been identified, so you don't know really their background. And we understand that is somewhat difficult to then find a mentor with the exact match. While that's true, you do have an understanding of the field, and you can aim to include faculty with expertise in certain categories. So, for instance, say you're an expert in, or you're in the field of public health. Maybe you will pick common fields within that sector. You may have maternal health. You may have human development. You may have expertise in those certain areas so that you're kind of covering your bases, because more than likely you're going to have junior faculty that represent those subcategories as well. And some of the main points to keep in mind when looking at looking for this mentorship is the mentor needs to be available for the entire duration of the program. Remember, it's a 10-week program. And they need to meet at least one time per week. Normally it's about an hour or so. So we need to have that commitment. In the proposal, make sure you highlight their advising experience, show that they've either had dissertation advising, any kind of student advising. Also showcase the mentor expertise in the discipline, where they principal investigator in a certain projects that may align with this field. So you need to just look at those categories, and you'll be able to go into more detail in the appendices as well. And then lastly, you need to give some thought to your plan for the pre-arrival communication between the mentors and the junior faculty. When they meet, it shouldn't be the first time that they're hearing about each other should not be when the grantees land on the ground. You need to really clearly outline how you plan to introduce the junior faculty to the faculty members on your campus. And it can, be either via Skype or email. So this pre-meeting allows mentors to communicate with the junior faculty and also talk about their expectations, address concerns about the mentorship structure, and also talk about the academic content of the program. So that's something important as well, and you need to include that in your proposal. And then some quick reminders just to keep in mind here is, remember, you need to complete an institutional proposal cover page, and that's separated by each country. And it includes details such as your address, who would be the administrative lead, and so on. So each RFP you'll see located right above it is its respective cover letter. Remember that the statement of work, which I refer to as narrative, should not exceed 5 pages. Remember, you can put additional details in the appendices. Proposals must include a detailed cross-proposal. Just to keep in mind, funding is provided for up to $15,600 per junior faculty participant. And this is inclusive of administrative costs, participant support costs, and housing. You need to also discuss pre-arrival and post-program communication plans. So we want to make sure that you understand that there needs to be contact with junior faculty before their arrival. And we also want to see that you have intentions on conducting post-program communication so that we can really attempt to build linkages between the countries. And then we have your program calendar, and that's what I referenced previously with the when you're discussing the academic components. You can outline how you see the program calendar, how you can see how the classes will be outlined, how you have your seminars, your workshops outlined, and engaging with the community, have that spread out. So they really want to see a snapshot of how you envision the program being implemented. And then last, as I referred to many times, make sure you have the appendix to provide additional details about the program. And now I'm going to turn it over to my colleague, Shannon.
Hi, everyone. So this is just a brief breakdown of the resources and logistical support that must be outlined in your proposal. So please be sure to include all 4 points or aspects in your proposal. So firstly, we have personnel, and these are the people that are charged with managing a specific part of the program. So you have your lead administrative contact, and they are responsible for oversight as it pertains to grant administration or budget. And then you have the lead faculty contact who guides program implementation process and serves as the primary liaison and the point of contact between Amity East. And then you also have the lead cultural engagement contact, and they will coordinate with community members and international offices to arrange cultural activities and different events throughout the program. Next, we have housing, which I will go into detail a bit more on the next slide, but just a reminder, it needs to be furnished. It has to have a private bedroom, bathroom, and kitchen, and it must include access to wireless internet. Residence halls are not suitable and will not be accepted, and housing must be available for the entire duration of the program. Thirdly, we have university facilities. So that includes access that the junior faculty members have to institutional facilities, libraries, labs associated with their disciplines. They should have access to databases, online systems, and departmental libraries. And the orientation that Diane mentioned should include an overview of the systems that are available to the junior faculty members throughout the duration of their program. And lastly, we have transportation. We do hope that the junior faculty will have independence throughout this program, and there should be an overview of local public transportation systems so that they can, make their way around the local community as well as campus. Okay, so housing. A lot of the questions we received have to do with housing, and we wanted to give some examples of housing that's worked successfully in the past. So some examples are on-campus townhouses, extended stay hotel rooms that have laundry access and individual kitchens, Airbnbs, and local short-term studio apartments. They all need to have laundry access, but it doesn't necessarily have to be included. We wanted to highlight that. And then things to think about when you're assessing potential housing for your proposal. Will the junior faculty member have a private bathroom, bedroom, and kitchen in this housing? Obviously, we've stated that number of times. It's required. And housing should be similar across the junior faculty members within the program. We don't want someone in, a studio and someone else in a 3-bedroom house. It should be relatively similar between each faculty member. Will they need to be moved when the fall semester begins? This is a great thought to have. So this program runs into September, and many universities and institutions start their academic year in August. So think about how this housing will be impacted when students return to campus. And then, is housing easily accessible from campus? Will they have to take a bus? Is it walkable? Just some things to think about before you decide on your proposed housing. And then we have the proposal review criteria. So we'll have an external panel with both country knowledge or relative academic expertise who will assess proposal submissions after Amity East reviews them technically and make sure that they're technically eligible. And then the panelists will provide recommendations to Amity East, and we will forward them to the U.S. Department of State, who will make the final selection on the host institutions. So they will be ranked on each proposal will be ranked on a 5-point scale. As you can see on the right-hand side of the screen, it goes by if they fully meet requirements, that will get 5 points. If it meets requirements with minor gaps, that will get 4 points. 3 points is meets requirements with moderate gaps. Partially meets requirements is 2 points, and then 1 point is does not meet the requirements for the proposal. So each section, each bullet point on the left-hand side will be scaled on that point scale. So just a brief breakdown of each section. The host commitment and expertise. Your proposal should demonstrate a commitment to fostering mutual understanding and a culture of exchange Again, as Diane mentioned, this is a Fulbright program, and that's a huge portion of the program. It should show expertise in the subject area with prior experience working with international faculty populations and implementing programs successfully. And then we have curriculum and professional resources. Reviewers will look for a proposal that showcases a comprehensive and original program that includes a variety of activities and seminars that emphasize teaching and research methodology, technology, and U.S. higher education, among many other things. Lead contact arrangements. Your proposal should have clearly defined roles of lead contacts, as I mentioned, and ensure that they have the background in their areas of responsibility. The reviewers will look for a successor plan should one of the contacts be unable to fulfill their duties during the program. Mentorship structure, as Diane mentioned, this is a big part of the program, and the reviewers will be looking for a strategic plan for ensuring that mentors are suitably matched with mentees. And then we have integrated program components. Your proposal will be scaled on an emphasis on faculty development, and if the proposal has a balance between development, mentoring, and cultural engagement. And then logistics, as I just briefly went over, it's housing, transportation, orientation. Do you have all of those components? How detailed are they? How original are they? That will give you a certain number of points. And then community resources and participants as resources. Proposals should give opportunities for junior faculty to engage with the local community through volunteering, host family engagement, those kinds of things, and then also provide for them an outlet to share their own home country and culture as well. And then we have the cost proposal. Reviewers will assess if all proposed costs are cost effective and only include necessary and appropriate items. And then we have follow-on activities. Reviewers will look for provisions to continue relationship building beyond the conclusion of the program. And then lastly, we have monitoring and evaluation. How does this proposal include a plan to evaluate the program and demonstrate the ability to link outcomes to the original program objectives? So each bullet point will be scaled on a point scale of 1 to 5 by the reviewers, and then that will be forwarded on to the U.S. Department of State. Okay, we just wanted to briefly go over the submission checklist, just to reiterate everything. Remember, your submissions are due October 15th, and then please include your cover sheet, which has all of the necessary information, names, which country, which cohort, for each submission that you choose to do. And then we have organizational information, which is just general background on your organization, includes names, contact information for the RFP. We have your qualifications, institution's organizational experience, relevant years of experience that you have, and any outsourcing or subcontracting projections that you might have. And then we have the record of performance. Please give us a historical record of implementing similar programs. As Diane mentioned, the statement of work or the narrative is not to exceed 5 pages, and it should have a detailed explanation of how the program will be executed. And then lastly, we have the cost proposal. You can find it in attachment B in the RFP, and that will detail every cost associated with the implementation of the program. And we can take questions if you have any brief questions in the chat. And if not, we have our contact information. If you have any questions, you can email us at jfdp@amides.org, or you can visit our website for any additional information. We look forward to receiving proposals and reading through them, and we are super excited to be hosting this program. Number 15. So if you do have any questions, please be sure to email us, and we look forward to working with you. Thank you.
Real quick. We will actually post the webinar on our website on where the RFPs are located. So
it's right there.
Yeah.
amethyst.org/JFCT. You'll see it and by the RFP tab, and we will post it transcribed there as well. Anything else?
Thank you.
Okay, great. Well, thank you very much.